Quality is not an act. It is a habit. That is a quote by Aristotle.
Welcome to Trina Talk. Trina Talk is a weekly podcast that will inspire and empower women of all ages to strive for the impossible. Your host, Trina L. Martin from TrinaMartin.com, is a motivational speaker, leader, and cyber tech expert. Every week, Trina will share wisdom gained from her life experiences and lessons learned while pursuing her goals to inspire you to achieve the next level in your life. Now, your host, Trina L. Martin.
Hello, welcome to Trina Talk. I am your host, Trina L. Martin, and this is episode 79. Before I get started, I would like to say, don't forget to join me every Friday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time for my Facebook live show called Talk to Trina. And that's where I share tips, trends, experiences, and I discuss leadership and leadership development with you. I answer your questions. I speak on the topics that you are concerned about. And it's something that I think is much needed in the world today, especially at times like this. We all need to have good leadership. So the topic of this week's episode is changing your mind, body, and lifestyle. My guest this week is Lori Lewis Koors. Lori is an overcomer in life and recovered from a major health condition by speaking positive words over her life, correcting her diet, and by making choices towards regaining a healthy lifestyle, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Lori works with both individuals and groups using a clinically studied weight loss program, along with her added special touches and mindful eating techniques, which result in healthy habits that stick, not through dieting. Hi, Lori. Welcome to Trina Talk.
Oh, thank you for having me, Trina. Thank you so much.
I'm glad to have you here. You are a health and wellness coach, but you don't focus on dieting, which is very interesting. But before we go into your story, give us a quick synopsis of who you are and how you became the Lori that you are today.
Yeah. Well, I became a health coach, I guess. Before that, I've had a lot of experience in before I even went to school to be a dietetic technician, which I can explain what that is later. I worked in a health food store here locally in Columbus, and loved helping people in a more natural way. And that's just always been an interest to me, how food and nutrition affects the body. And so then I was really interested. My kids were in school full time, and I didn't, I was a stay-at-home mom, and I was like, oh, now's my chance. I can maybe go to school or do something for me while they're gone. And I knew nutrition was always a passion for me. And that's when I investigated what kind of schooling I could get into. I was thinking about being a registered dietitian, and that seemed too overwhelming as far as school went. So I went the dietetic technician route. And I also have about 11 years in the organic food industry.
Okay.
If that helps. Yeah.
Oh, so go ahead and explain what a dietetic technician is.
Yeah. Okay. Our designation is a DTR or an NDTR, and that stands for Nutrition and Dietetics Technician Registered. And we are registered through the American Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, just like the registered dietitians are, the same academy. What we do is we really support registered dietitians in what they're doing. They do medical nutrition therapy. So, their job is to come in and help folks with specific diets for medical conditions. And we help assist the dietitian in that. So we do get some medical nutrition therapy training, food science, food purchasing. We created menus in school. We helped with some local like Meals on Wheels. We had practicums in hospitals. So we were all over the place. It was so much fun. And we were basically not only supporting dietitians, but we also speak to the public on healthy lifestyles and give nutrition education talks. So we were really supporting the community as well as the dietitians.
Okay. So I know there's a story behind all of it. What made you get into doing all of this?
Yeah. Well, like I was saying earlier, I was a stay-at-home mom. Now my children are in their 20s now, so this was decades ago. And I found that I was mindlessly kind of snacking, throughout the day. When you stay at home with your kids, I don't, a lot of people understand it's a tough job. It's rewarding. It can be tough and sometimes lonely. But I was just snacking because you're always making lunches and snacks and dinners for the kids and everything. And I put on some weight in my middle, and I was just feeling kind of frumpy and not myself. So I decided to put myself on a low carb diet. And, because we all want to lose weight quickly, so I get that. And I did it unhealthily. I didn't know realize I was doing it. Now, with all the information I know now, with all the training I have, I realized that I was eating a very high inflammatory diet of a lot of diet sodas, which I was, drinking anyway. And then on top of that, I decided that, well, if I'm going to eat low carb, then I can eat red meat because that gives eat that, and combine that with some stress I was having at the time. And I ended up not only losing some weight, but also gaining an autoimmune disease diagnosis. So that got my attention. It was specifically multiple sclerosis, and that got my attention. And so I said, well, you better make some modifications. I knew inherently that my diet was a problem, and I think a lot of us know that as well. Like, we're just not taking care of ourselves in some way. But we think we're getting away with it until something happens like that, like a diagnosis, which I won't do that ever again. I corrected my diet right away because I just knew it was wrong. It was unhealthy. I got back into exercising because I've always loved being in the gym. I've just focused on me again and my health and really took it seriously. I had 2 little kids at the time, and was married, and I was like, I need to be there for everybody. So that began my journey, and really, my journey back to health. And there's so much more to it, which I'm happy to share. But that is basically why I became a health coach, because I saw what happened, first of all, when my diet changed to an unhealthy one, the ramifications of that. And then when I corrected it, and I also got back into exercising, I spoke positive words over my life, all kinds of things. And then I saw the results of all of those changes, and how it can affect somebody's life. And I thought, I have to be a part of this and help people.
Wow, that's amazing, because like you said, everyone wants to lose weight. And I think especially here in America, there's the diet, fads. And it's surprising to me you said, okay, I'm going to do a low carb diet, but it ended up having a negative effect on you. Um, Tell us as far as how you work with your clients that are, do they come to you after dieting and they just have given up all hope because it's not working, or do you catch them before they go on a diet program to tell them what's healthy? How exactly are you working with your clients?
Yeah, I would say most of them have tried. I like to say they've tried all the diets before. Um, I usually help the person that has been stuck in the yo-yo dieting, cycle. They often jump from this diet. Well, that worked for a while, but I gained the weight back. So now I'm going to try this one because I know this is the one, that's just going to change my life. And it doesn't. So I really help the person that's really been searching and trying different diets. And they just haven't found, uh, I would say it's usually the underlying problem. They're trying to just correct their food choices more so than getting to the root of the problem, which could even be emotional eating, or something like that. Why are we in the habits that we're in, um, that are having us gain the weight in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And is that where you say you do it through mindset and behavior changes? So you're not just saying, oh, here's a new program, here's a new fad, here's a new diet, do this. You're actually sitting down and talking to the person and getting to know them before you make any kind of dietary recommendations.
That's absolutely correct. I work on the whole person, and everyone has different stressors in their lives, right? Everyone is in a different situation at home and at work, and so um, the one diet fits all cookie cutter. I had somebody once say to me that she was really tired of the cookie cutter solutions and needed someone who will just focus on her, you know. So that's really what I do.
Mm. And speak more to how, because you said how your dieting led to MS. Speak more to that, because I think maybe a lot of times many other things that people that come about in a person's health may be contributed to their diet or lack of good diet, whatever, however you want to call it, but they don't attribute those things as being cause and effect. How many times are you seeing things like that?
Well, I think Trina, it's not only that either. It's well, diet plays such a huge role, because it's a combination of a lot of things. I think, and mind you, I don't know everything about this, right? About how diseases come about, but um, yes, diet plays a huge role because inflammation, a very high inflammatory diet, can cause all kinds of problems. And I really, if people want to search, this is a fascinating topic too, the topic of epigenetics. Um, it's fascinating. And basically, what that is saying is everybody, has their own genetic makeup, and your diet, environment, stressors, stress, all kinds of things can turn on or off your genes. So one side of my family has a history of autoimmune issues, not necessarily MS, but in different ways. So that's why my theory is that because of the stress I was under, my poor diet choices at the time, that turned on my genes, my autoimmune genes, and that's just how it manifested in me, was MS. So that it's just kind of a throwing that out there as a theory. Again, I'm not can't tell you exactly why somebody gets something. I think the other thing that I've had many discussions with people when I've told friends or just in casual conversation that I had that diagnosis and I'm doing really well now, they're like, oh my gosh, you need to talk to my friend and encourage them. And sometimes I find that um, people have thoughts of, and when I say mindset, I'm really tough on myself. And so I find that in talking with people in the past, people that are really hard on themselves and speak negative words over themselves, like, "Oh, I'm so stupid," or "I can't do anything right," or "Oh, I'm sick and tired of everything." The words you speak have such power over you. Also, I have found that sometimes people who have been in abusive relationships also um, find themselves with maybe some kind of autoimmune issue. And I'm, getting into another whole different topic here, but I really believe it's just a lot of different things because autoimmune that issue means your body is literally attacking itself, right? So if your words are attacking yourself or someone else's words or it maybe could be physical also. If something else is attacking you, I really believe that that manifests in your body as well. We don't just eat food, we eat our feelings as well. And so I really believe that that has part of it to do with it too. So that's why I also work on mindset with folks. Did you hear what, I have a coach too that tells me, did you hear what you just said? Oh, no, I didn't realize I just said that. Oh, I take that back, and I'm now gonna say this, over my life. Sorry, thank you for catching that. So I do those kinds of things with, my clients as well.
Wow, that's interesting you say that, and I love what you said. We eat our feelings because we do so many
Yeah,
times, and and I can say I have too. So many times I'll sit and go, "Wow, why am I eating this? I'm not hungry,"
yeah,
and 9 times out of 10, it's because it's there.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and
totally.
yeah, you walk past it and you're like, I don't want those donuts. But then you walk past them, you're like, okay, well, they're sitting here. They're going to be stale soon. So I'm going to go ahead and eat one. So we
Right.
find, we find ways to justify it. Um, but I would like to, since we're talking about, and this show's for inspiring and motivating others, I would like to really get into how people can do better with their health and wellness. What are some things that you want to suggest that the listeners um, take heed to in their lives?
Yeah, I think first, just, don't be hard on yourself. If you are trying to, lose weight and say you have 100 pounds or more to lose, or, you may have 20, that you want to lose, or maybe 100 or more. I think it's such a journey. And, it's so common to take one step forward and two or three steps back. And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck in, oh my gosh, this is never going to happen. It's so overwhelming. Um, just keep taking that one step forward that is towards your health goals. And I think focusing on your health and not your weight is a big motivator,
Hmm.
because really that's what it's about. Because when you have a healthy lifestyle, when you're, finding movement that you enjoy and you're making better food choices, healthier food choices, um, and you're enjoying it, that's the key too. I'm all about um, having my clients find what they truly enjoy, because when you enjoy that and you don't feel like it's a diet that you have to um, maintain for, a couple of months and then, ooh, I'm done. I can just go back to my old ways. When you really enjoy a change in your lifestyle, you're going to want to do that the rest of your life. And so I think finding what you enjoy and just taking one step at a time and to not overwhelm yourself really one way to start.
I agree. Now, I have a question now with dieting per se. Like you said, you were like, oh, okay, I'm going to do the no carb thing. We all see these different things like, okay, I'm going to do intermittent fasting. I'm going to do no carbs. I'm going to do keto, whatever. There's a whole plethora of things out there.
Yeah.
And how do we know? I guess we don't know, but there's so many different things out there. Like you said, you tried something, it didn't work well for you. It brought out some adverse things in your body. Is there any way to know what's best? Because not everyone can afford to go to you and a dietitian. Do you have any suggestions for things that people can do to maybe try to select what may be best for them instead of going with what's trendy?
Yeah, I think too. Everybody is different, and just because I said this low carb regimen, uh, you know, I ended up with this issue. Doesn't mean low carb is bad. I personally just did it in a way that didn't work for me. Um, but there are ways you can do it in a healthy way. There is all kinds of resources out there that are, um, I think one of the best plans, honestly, Weight Watchers has I just think because they promote healthy food and lifestyles. I think they're pretty solid. There's a lot of websites too that are, you got to be careful, but there are some great resources out there if you can't afford a coach. Um, I'm actually working on a couple things too that are more evergreen that, are going to have a lower price point. So stay tuned to my website on that. But there are a lot of ways. The US, the My Plate has some good resources too. I love their diagram of a plate and how you have about half your plate as non-starchy vegetables, a fourth of your plate a healthy complex carbohydrate, and then a fourth of your plate lean protein. That's always a great way to start, is watch your portions.
Mm-hmm. And I want to get your opinion, especially with your expertise. So I just recently came back from Italy, and going there, everything is fresh. I mean, I love the food. It's Italy, right? Who can't, who's wouldn't love to go to Italy and eat? But
yeah,
you go to places there, and let's just take, like I had a dish gnocchi, and it was a nice portion. It wasn't for us, 3 people to eat off of. The sauce was fresh, the mozzarella was fresh, and everything that I had there, I ate. It was filling. I didn't feel stuff. But here, if I would have eaten that same dish, I would have felt horrible, or I would have had enough to last me for 2 or 3 days. Why is it that our portions are so huge when it doesn't take all of that? Is it because that's what society wants? And then, of course, we freeze everything. We think the preservatives and freezing is best. When you go to other countries, they do everything fresh, and I think that's a reason why in a lot of ways they are healthier. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I think I hear all the time. My goal is to get to Italy here in the next year or two. For the first time in my life, I definitely will go there, and I cannot wait. But every time someone talks about going to Italy, they say how fresh the food is. Europe, in general, how vibrant the produce is compared to here, and and I just think it's such a different um, culture. I really think it's a cultural thing. And I think here in the States, we just have so much processed food that it just changes everything. I have a friend who is gluten sensitive. She doesn't have celiac, but it's very gluten sensitive. but she did really well. I don't know if you've heard this too, but she did really well in Italy with the pasta. Although I heard they do have some gluten-free options now. But
Mm-hmm.
she did really well and did not feel sick. And she said, I remember she said she came home and thought, oh, well, maybe I'm okay. And she tried some items with gluten here and just felt sick. So I think it's in the way we process our foods and the way we grow them. There's so much there's pesticides, and we've adulterated the wheat for the most part here in the States. Um, and I think it's just manufacturing. I think that has such um, a big thing to do with it.
Oh, I agree totally. So what other things do you have for the listener as far as their health and wellness? Do you go beyond the food aspect and dieting? What other things do you tackle with your clients?
Yeah, well, you know what? Everybody is different, and so, gosh, somebody I've worked with, she was very stressed at work, and then she would come home and her house was in disarray as far as not the people in the house, but as far as the clutter. And I said, what do you think about if you're work is stressful for everybody at times, right? um so what if you came home and your house was decluttered, that kind of thing? How would you feel? Would you feel that you had more clarity and more energy to fix a meal, or to that you would just be able to relax before a meal, or what, just relax in your home? And so we started tackling how she can declutter her home. So I mean, it's just things like that, because that will often reduce the person's stress. If you're stressed at work and stressed at home in some way, that's just tough. You just really can't get a break. And when you are stressed, that affects your gut health, your digestion, um, all kinds of things. It's just not good for your health at all. So sometimes that's when I'll look at the person's individual situation and just say, hey, what do you think about this? And just kind of let them go with that and see if it would help. So there's just examples of different things that we tackle. So maybe, I don't know if that helps any of the listeners, maybe declutter a room that's really bothering you, take charge of that. She also set boundaries at work, and that helped her immensely to de-stress at work. So there's a lot of stress is a biggie. Find an outlet. I recently started yoga a month or two ago in the mornings, and it's just been amazing for me. And I was actually inspired by a client that I worked with last year. She discovered yoga and said that she had an executive, you know, um, position in a nonprofit. And she said, when I don't do yoga in the morning, she said, it just really affects my day in such a negative way. So I think finding ways to de-stress your life is also another big part of being healthy and losing weight.
Mm, I agree. And I never thought about that, but you're right. Other things in your life, especially stress,
Yeah.
Impacts the way you eat and the things that you eat. Because a lot of times when we're stressed, we just want something quick and easy that we may not have to put too much time into.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that's a going thing now, that everybody is on the fast, convenient type of schedule. Everybody's busy, so they're trying to do everything that's quick and easy. And not all the time are we making the best choices as far as what we're putting into our bodies.
Right, right. Well, because when you are stressed and you're hungry and you're tired, what do you go for? You go for the the sugar and the convenience and the comfort food.
Mhm.
Totally.
Yes, definitely. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to get into our questions. Are you ready for them?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. Question 1. Who or what motivates you?
Oh, I would say my kids for sure. My
Okay.
children, they're in their 20s, and my son actually is an entrepreneur as well, and he's a musician. And they are amazing. They're adults now, and I am just amazed at what they are doing. And I want them to be proud of me as well.
Wow. What demotivates you?
Negativity. And I would say what demotivates me is negativity around me, and when my home is cluttered as well. I like to have things uh, in place. It just helps me. I think it declutters my mind as well. And then the negativity, I honestly don't watch the news a whole lot. I try to, I want to see, of course, what's going on, but I don't want to make that my life's focus because it's usually negative. So I would say that's those two things for sure.
Okay. When was a time that something was said or done to hurt you, but it worked for your good?
Ooh. Um yeah, okay. I was this was probably it's usually probably a work story where someone would have said that mm, I needed to, improve in an area, and um but I was told I was doing a good job, and all of a sudden I kind of got blindsided, and they said, "No, you need to step it up over here." And I was like, "Okay, that's great. I see that now." But um, at the very end, it was said in a negative way. Let's put it that way. It was said in a negative way, and the way the situation was framed to me before was everything was great. I was just blindsided. Well, um, that really, I thought, well, all right, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how great of an employee I am. And they were going to give me about 6 months to step some stuff up, and I was like, all right, you're on. And I did. I became like, um, yeah, I did really well. After that. It's kind of that thing where I'll show you in a good way. It was really motivating. And one thing they said was, we're going to give you 6 months. And there was a line at the very end of this email that said, and we know you can do it. So that was really the motivating factor. I'm like, I know I can too. Totally. Yeah.
Okay. What is your fear?
Gosh, I try not to focus on that. Um, Honestly, because that just takes you down a spiral. I honestly, I have fears, will this business work out? All kinds of things, but I don't speak it out, and I just don't focus on the fears because this is going to be, it is an amazing business, and, and I just don't focus on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a time when you wish you had done something that you didn't?
Oh gosh, don't we all? Don't we all? Especially you get to midlife. Um, well, this is kind of a fun story in a way because you just never know how your life may have turned out. So when I was in high school, um, I had a chance to audition for like you know how you have career centers you can go to in high school,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this was for broadcasting. So I had an audition. I sat at a desk like I was, on TV, and I had to do a little news segment, and I got in, and I was really excited, but being the traditional thinking family and person that I was at that point, I was like, oh, I can never do that. I have to go to college. And so I went that route, which was amazing as well. I went to the Ohio State University and had an amazing experience there. But the part of me always wonders what would have happened had I gone that route. So that's probably the thing I can think of right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a time that you wish you had not done something?
Um, Again, don't we always have that? Uh, I think there are times when you say things to people that you wish you could have taken back. I don't do that very often, but there are times when you just kind of blow a gasket and maybe have said some hurtful things, and it's really hard to take those back. Yeah.
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 What is your definition of success?
Oh, my definition of success would be, to me, it is knowing that you have, oh gosh, that you have done everything in your power to make something happen, and that you're enjoying it. I think success is doing what you love and doing it with your whole heart and knowing that you're putting your all into it, um, to make it as successful as possible.
Okay. How do you recharge?
Well, I am definitely, a lot of people think I'm an extrovert, but I'm really not. Introverts need to recharge by stepping back. And so if I have a really busy day, again, I enjoy people and I love being around people because I'm energized to a point. And then if I keep going, I have got to uh, go home, even if it's in between things for 30 to 45. And my kids, if I can lay on the I sleep and at least close my eyes for a half an hour, that's good for me. And then I'm ready to go again. I used to call it, guys, let me just rest my eyes.
I know how that is because I'm an introvert as well, so I understand.
That's cool. Yeah.
What are you awesome at?
Oh, I think I am awesome at smiling at total strangers and making them smile. That when I go grocery shopping or I'm in a mall or wherever I'm at, I try to look people in the eye and smile at them. And I would say, I'm in Columbus, Ohio, so we're pretty friendly out here too. But um, yeah, I think I'm pretty good about that. I would say most people smile back.
What legacy do you want to leave?
Oh goodness, I this business, yeah, is going to be a legacy I leave for my kids, and hopefully for hundreds of people one day who will get help, um, through my business, getting healthy. This is just the beginning of it. Um, I have a vision for a large wellness center. There's much more to come, and this is financially a legacy for my family and also a legacy just to help as many people as possible.
Give the listeners one motivational takeaway.
One motivational takeaway. Um, you know what? Just keep pressing on. Your future is so bright. I have been in so many hopeless feeling situations, and you know, I am a Christian, but I'd say if you're in a dark, hopeless place, just ask God for help, and just know that everything is going to be okay, and just keep taking one more step towards where you want to be. Just one step, and just keep going.
That's great advice. Lori, tell the listeners how they can connect with you, what social media platforms you're on, and what kind of services you offer.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, sure. My website, well, the name of my business is Seeds of Change Nutrition. And you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram under that name. That's the name of my website as well, seedsofchangenutrition.com. And there are some freebies I have out there. If you want to check my website under events and resources, you can find some freebies there and some events that might be going on at the time. And if you connect with me on social media, my direct message is always open if you have any questions. And I offer one-on-one coaching and also group coaching. And I'm working on a like a evergreen program where it's going to be under $100, and you're going to get a lot of value for that too. And you can use it at any time to help you get started in losing weight. So look out for that. And you can also sign up for my newsletter from my website as well.
Great. Well, Lori, I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk with me. It's been very informative just to hear a perspective about health and wellness that we haven't had before.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Well, you have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
If you like Trina Talk, please don't forget to go out to Apple Podcasts to subscribe. Also, who else in your life do you know that needs some motivation and inspiration in their life? Don't forget to share Trina Talk with them. I hope you have a great week. And remember, if you change your mindset, you can change your life. Keep striving, because success is a journey, not a destination. You can listen to Trina Talk anytime and anywhere. It's available on iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Spotify, and all other places that you can listen to podcasts. If you like the podcast, please don't forget to go to iTunes to subscribe, rate, review, and share. If you have questions for me or need inspiration on how to go to the next level, tweet me directly at Trina L. Martin.